In the mid-14th century, a silent and deadly force swept across Europe, leaving devastation and fear in its wake. The Black Plague, also known as the Black Death, would go on to kill millions, altering the course of history and leaving an indelible mark on the medieval world. The Black Plague, a pandemic caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, first emerged in 1347. It is believed to have originated in the arid plains of Central Asia, but it quickly spread along trade routes to the bustling cities and quiet villages of Europe. What followed was a catastrophe unlike any seen before. The primary vectors of the plague were black rats and their fleas. These carriers of death infested merchant ships, spreading the disease from port to port. As the plague moved inland, it devastated entire communities, with some towns losing up to 60% of their population. The symptoms were as horrifying as they were fatal. Victims experienced fever, chills, vomiting, and agonizing pain. Buboes, or swollen lymph nodes, would develop, turning black as the body succumbed to the infection. Death often followed within days, leaving little time for the sick to seek help or say goodbye. In an era where science was in its infancy, people sought answers in religion and superstition. Many believed the plague was a punishment from God for humanity's sins. Others turned to more sinister explanations, accusing marginalized groups such as Jews of poisoning wells or invoking dark magic. These beliefs led to widespread persecution and violence. The cultural impact of the Black Plague was profound. Art and literature of the time became preoccupied with death and the macabre. The dance macabre, or dance of death, emerged as a powerful motif, reminding all of the inevitability of death. This somber reflection on mortality would influence European culture for generations to come. Economically, the Black Plague caused massive disruptions. With a significant portion of the population dead, labor became scarce. This led to higher wages for workers and a shift in the feudal system. Serfs who had been tied to the land found new opportunities to demand better conditions or leave for towns in search of work. The rigid social structures of medieval Europe began to crack under the pressure of these changes. The church, which had been the cornerstone of medieval society, also felt the impact of the plague. As prayers and rituals failed to stop the spread of the disease, people's faith in the church's ability to protect them waned. This loss of trust would sow the seeds for future religious upheavals, including the Protestant Reformation. Despite the horrors, the Black Plague eventually ran its course. As the survivors began to rebuild, Europe entered a period of transformation. The old world had been irrevocably changed, and in its place a new Europe began to emerge. The Renaissance, with its emphasis on humanism and scientific inquiry, would rise from the ashes of the medieval world. Today, the Black Plague is remembered as one of the deadliest pandemics in human history, but it also serves as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. From the devastation came change, and from change, growth. The lessons of the Black Plague continue to resonate as we navigate our own challenges in the modern world. The Black Plague was more than just a disease, it was a turning point in history. It reshaped medieval Europe in ways that are still felt today. As we reflect on this dark chapter, we are reminded of the fragility of life and the enduring strength of humanity. Background music fades out.